Hello and welcome back. My name is Dr. Christopher Gennari, and this is Great Big History Podcast. This is part of my History 101 World Civ 1 selection from Lucy to Leonardo. In this episode, Episode 7, Who You Gonna Call? Part 2. It's not Ghostbusters, by the way. So when we left off, we had a problem. Notice we constantly leave off with problems. Our first problem is who can solve the problems of the nomad's nature and paying for it all and getting everyone to contribute. And what will happen is lots of people say, I could do it, I could do it, I could do it, I could do it, I could do it. Everyone wants to be the leader. But let's be honest. How many people can really do it? How many people have the charisma that other people will follow, the legitimacy that other people will follow, have the stamina to do the job, have the ability, the knowledge, the wherewithal to do the job? When you think about it, there really isn't all that many people. So only a few people really have the super wealth, the charisma, the authority to have the legitimacy to solve the problems. There's also only a few people who have the ability to not be told what to do by other people. But here's the problem. There can be only one. Only one person can solve all these problems. You can't do it by committee. You can't do it by a vote. Because what will be the first thing to do? They'll say, well, other people should pay for the walls. I don't want to pay for it. Huh? What? Wait, what? You're going to live inside those walls, right? Oh, yeah, I am totally going to live inside those walls. I just don't want to pay for them. You pay for them. So there can be only one. And so what happens is a royal rumble. Let's get ready to rumble! We get the Hatfields versus the McCoys, the Montagues versus the Capulets, Tupac versus Biggie, Gritty versus Penguin Pete. You know how it is. We get a gangland rumble. Because the groups that have all that wealth, all that ability, who have homeboys and don't want to be told what to do, well, what's their final reserve? After trying to negotiate who will be in charge, what do? They throw down. So what do we end up with? Gang warfare. One leader and their homeboys versus other leaders and their homeboys. And they fight it out. And what's the result? The king. Gritty the king. That's right. Why king? Why the Burger King? Because the king is one person. It's a man. With super wealth and victory, which gives them legitimacy. They've defeated the other big shots, the other gang leaders and their homeboys. And that one person has the wealth and the legitimacy to build the walls and force people to pay taxes to pay for the building of the walls. Why? Why do you have to pay to build the walls? Well, somebody has to build the wall. That somebody can no longer be a farmer. That means that person has to choose to either build a wall and not be murdered by nomads or starve because they don't make food. Well, what taxes do, what the king can do, is pay that person more money than they would have made if they remained as a farmer. Because remember, you need to incentivize people to do new work, to do something they're not used to. So you pay them more than they could make. So that allows them to buy the food that they need so they don't starve, but also have enough income that helping to build a wall is worthwhile. So you build the walls, that means you need taxes to pay those people, which means you need coercion. You have to force people to pay because nobody likes paying taxes. The amount of people who are like, oh, I hate my taxes. Well, get in line. Everybody in the entire history of people have hated taxes. Except maybe me. I like taxes. Why? Because it buys civilization, as the old quote goes. Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote, I like paying taxes. With it, I buy civilization. I can't pay for streets and electricity and regulating the internet and clean water all on my own. I pay taxes. But the government now needs, the king now needs coercion, the ability to make people pay. That's a new power. Nomadic chiefs don't have coercion. They can't force people to do anything. The king can. And the people say, yeah, king, you should force them to pay taxes. I got to pay my taxes. So you have to force them to pay. You either work or there's a punishment. You either do it or there's something bad happening. You pay or you're punished. You work or you punish. They get the power of coercion. Now, this is not slavery. People are like, oh, taxes are slavery. No. It's the solution to the problem of the commons. It's getting everyone to contribute to something everybody will use. Because remember, the incentive is not to do it, not to contribute in order to basically glom off of everybody else. The walls go up, you paid nothing, you still get protected from the walls. No one's going to ask you when the nomads show up, did you pay for the wall? So that's secured by the king forcing everyone to contribute, which means it costs everybody less. The more people who contribute, the less it costs. Plus, you got to build the temples, sacrifice to the gods, organize the priests, protect the merchants, because the merchants are constantly being threatened to be stolen from, right? They have the money. They have money and they have stuff that's just laying around. Like you have to go to sleep sometime. They have to deal with other kings. They have to channel the will of the gods. And they have to get rich folk and poor folk to obey and work together. Well, if you could do all of that, you gain legitimacy. Survival equals legitimacy. It worked. So people don't mess with it. But Professor, I'm a libertarian. I attend a public college, subsidized by tax dollars, driving to school on public roads, maintained by public workers, drinking out of the public water fountain, and I vote in public elections. But I don't think government should have so much power. Because I'm a libertarian. People could do fine on their own. Shut up. Just stop. Just stop. 1. It doesn't work. It's a philosophy that doesn't work. It's a dumb philosophy. But it's dumb in the ancient world. Because what happens if you don't contribute? No king equals no government, which equals no taxes, which equals no public funds, which equals no walls, no powerful gods who are going to back you because there's no public sacrifices. Later, no armies to help take land for food, or to protect you from other settled people and their armies. And then the nomads come and obliterate you because you have no walls and no powerful gods to protect you. And other settled people come with their kings and their armies and they obliterate you. Or the gods are mad and they obliterate you with earthquakes, floods, famine, and pestilence. And you don't get to be talked about in History 101 because you lose. Sorry, man. This is a pro-government class because everything that happens in this class happens because of government. Happens in the shadow of government. That's why the book is called Leviathan. Hobbes's book on government is called Leviathan because it's underneath everything. Nothing happens. You don't get philosophy because you're dead without government. Because government creates the situation that protects you to allow you to do these other things. Otherwise, nomads come, see you have no walls, laugh at you, kill you, take your stuff. So there are no libertarians in the ancient world. And libertarianism is a lie by rich people who don't want to pay for things they already use. But you think the amount of water that comes out of your drain and goes down your toilet costs only $40 a month? Really? Go to a place that doesn't have clean water and tell me how much you would pay. So, you can't attend Camden County College without the public roads to get there. The school literally can't exist. Much less the electricity that runs through the air, through the power lines. Government sets up the regulatory system that allows that stuff to exist. We don't talk about you in History 101 because you're dead. Because you didn't do these things. So, sorry, libertarians. But to everybody else, thank you. Be safe. This is the end of Settled People. In our next episode, we start talking about Mesopotamia. We start doing things in specifics. This is the end of this has been true for all nomadic peoples all over the world and the settled peoples in river valleys in India, in China, and in the Middle East and in Egypt, right? But now we're going to start with our next section. We're going to start talking about specifics. We're going to start with Mesopotamia, Babylon, Assyria, Persia. Then we're going to move on to Egypt. Then we're going to move on to the Hebrews. So that's what we have coming up. And that will be the end of part 1, the first third of our class. So be safe. Take care. Don't read Ayn Rand. And just be kind to everybody else. And stay healthy, man. Be careful out there.